All right, we are very happy to be joined by Cary Elwes, star of so many great things, but here to talk about M.I.A. About Etta Tiger Jones, who seeks to avenge her family's murder and become the most powerful crime queenpin in South Florida. If you're watching this, all episodes have already dropped on Peacock, and we've already seen a couple of the early episodes so far. And I think this series has a pretty incredible crime pedigree, because when you look at it, it's the creator of Ozark. It is the showrunner that worked on Dexter, which is also phenomenal. So what drew you specifically to the script? Is it just like, hey, these two people are doing this, I gotta do whatever they're doing?
100%,
Or
Jack. I mean,
oh, you know what? I'm realizing I'm not even putting a mic on you. Yeah.
how
there we
about
go.
that? we're going to start this again.
Easy Productions. Yeah.
Because this doesn't sound so great, but this sounds much better.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay. Jack, in answer to your question, Bill Dubuque right away. I mean, my wife and I, we binge watched Ozark when it came out, and we were like blown away. This guy's an extraordinary artist and storyteller. And his shows are dynamic. Obviously, the themes he likes to explore drug cartels and murder, but it's more than just that. He likes to explore what those things, how they affect people, like the victims' families, how they're affected by the murders, how they're affected by the drugs. And so he really writes very nuanced characters. And so everybody in this show, especially when you watched Ozark, you saw all of the characters very nuanced. Same with this, but just much more, I think it's a lot more exciting. I mean, there's a lot of action.
A little more John Wicky in this, yeah.
A little bit more wiki. A little more wiki.
Another thing that, like we said, we saw a few episodes.
Right. What'd you see? First three?
For me, first three, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about you?
First two.
First two. Okay.
The acting. And there's a lot of unfamiliar faces.
Yes.
It's great acting, but
Yes.
a lot of unfamiliar young
Yeah.
faces. You're a seasoned vet. Do you offer any advice to young actors while you're on
no,
set?
God,
No?
No, God,
No, you stay out of the creative process. you know?
please, God, no. The last thing an actor needs to hear on a set is somebody going,
Actor to actor note?
No, never. No, God, no. Then, by the way, first of all, these guys are so great. All of them. And you fans will recognize some of them. We have an actor who was on, should we wait for that? No, we worked through that.
Oh, no, we worked through
worked
that. This is New York City, baby.
Yeah.
We want them to
you
feel
go
it.
straight through all the
Okay,
sirens.
we have an actor, Denai Garcia. She was on Walking Dead. We have another guy, Maurice Comte. He was in Narcos. But the three leads and our protagonist, Etta Tiger Jones, is played by this wonderful, fairly new talent, Shannon Hizella, and she's so dynamic. She's this girl on a mission. Her family is murdered by a drug cartel, and they don't realize they've messed with the wrong person. And she's just fabulous. But her found family.
Okay, we might want to stop for that one.
I
That's
have
incredible.
heard that sometimes it can get exciting with the sirens and from the sound department.
You think they would have, when
trying to
they
catch
built
her.
a podcast studio,
That's
added in some
hilarious.
soundproofing from the
That's
street
hilarious.
2 floors up?
Last
That's
thing on their mind.
hilarious.
They just
Last
forgot.
thing on their mind. They're on their way to catch Etta. That's what we'll go with.
hilarious, you guys. All right, let me go back a bit. So, yes, our protagonist, Etta Tiger Jones, as you mentioned, is a character who has to deal with the fact that her whole family is murdered by a drug cartel. And Etta is played by this fairly new talent called Shannon Hizella, and she's just remarkable in this role. I mean, she's dynamic. Etta is someone who you think is someone who probably wouldn't know what to do if any of her family were harmed, but we quickly discover she's someone that they should not have messed with. And she's fabulous in it. But the found family that she has, there's these two actors who play her best friends and become subsequently her new family. Brittany Abdemola and Dylan Jackson. And they are just magnificent. They play these immigrants who take her in, look after her, and they're just beautifully portrayed these roles. I'm very, very proud of the cast. They're all terrific. And it's an exciting show. The minute you start watching it, you saw it. It grabs you and won't let go,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you get to play a detective in this. And I think that is
Private
a job.
investigator.
PI, sorry. Well,
Yeah.
in my head, at least in movies, I kind of like blend them together.
No,
So-
he's an ex-detective turned private eye.
So like the private dick, or let's say profession, it's inspired so many great performances across all of cinematic history.
sure.
What are some of the ones that you have stood out to you as being like, I love this growing up, or maybe?
Gosh, I used to watch. What was the one that I forget the title of it? It's been so long since I've watched these shows. I was a kid.
Ironically, you could get to Columbo. if wanna do that.
Columbo, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, Peter was brilliant. I got to work with him. But believe it or not, Night Stalker.
The one with Jake Gyllenhaal one I'm thinking of?
Huh?
Nightcrawler.
I'm thinking Nightcrawler.
Night Stalker was this guy who's tracking vampires in L.A. A very obscure little series in the 70s. He was a private investigator. Anyway, but yeah, there's been a great history of private investigators on film and on TV. And they all inspired me growing up, Obviously, Chinatown.
Of course.
You can never get past Jack Nicholson's Jake Gitters, He's sort of a template for everyone,
If you were the private investigator, and I always like to think about this because PIs and detectives and cops, especially this has kind of a Western almost feel to it, is like that internal balance, or internal battle between, there's obviously the law, but there's also justice. Do you think you would land on the side of like actually wanting to find Etta?
That's a really good question, Bob. So this is a character, a guy I played, Tim Kincaid. He's an ex-Miami police detective turned private investigator, and he's full on hard times. And so he has to take the work for the money to pay for his mother's medical bills. And because of that, he ends up being hired by somebody who turns out to be not so on the level. And so through the season, my character has to sort of rediscover his moral compass, which is always fun to play with.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's such a classic thing for a private investigator storyline too.
Right.
I love it. It's like such a good
where's
juicy
that
role.
fine line between taking the money and then doing the right thing? I think that's a constant blur for some investigators when they when they're offered a sum of money that they can't turn down.
It does remind me a lot of that too, like especially the old West feel where it's like the ranch got burned down and now I need to go and get my revenge, and you're like almost like, I don't want to say the Pinkerton here, but like you're the guy, you need to try and find it, and that moral struggle is tough.
It is. I think everybody knows at the end of the day that if you have an ounce of integrity, that person can only toe the line for so long before they find themselves in a quandary, right?
Yeah.
Where they can't live with themselves.
Yeah.
This was also, by the way, beautifully shot. Like
thank
all
you.
on
I thought so,
location.
right?
Colorful.
Miami is a beautiful place to shoot.
Yeah.
As an actor, like, how important is it to you when you're taking on a project to hear that something is going to be shot with that kind of intent? Like, does it matter to you? Like, if you heard, hey, we have a role for you, or let's say there's two roles on the table. One pays a little bit more, but it's shot on a
blue screen in
a volume.
You're hilarious, Bob.
You know,
That's hilarious.
In the volume or wherever it is in the ether, or you get to go down to Miami and have these beautiful sets.
It depends on the role, but Miami obviously was chosen by the creators of the show because Miami's a character in the show, of
course.
Yes.
And you can't put a camera down in Miami without capturing the essence of that city and all of it, good and bad, and the culture, the whole thing. And so that was why they chose as a backdrop to the show. And I've never shot there before, but it was wonderful. The city really welcomed us. The crew were terrific. I mean, they even made T-shirts of my character. I've never had anyone do that
That's
for me
awesome.
before. I mean, it was really a joyful. And the cast, you mentioned the cast, how much you guys enjoyed the cast. We all bonded on this show, and that's rare. It's always wonderful when you work with talented actors who happen to be nice people. And it turns out, I hit the jackpot with this show. These guys are all just terrific. They're really talented, but they're really good people. There wasn't a single ego on the set. It was great.
Did y'all go out to eat anywhere
Always,
down there? Like,
always.
Do you have
I let them
did you
pick.
come away loving any?
There were
any certain
local.
foods?
There were a lot of guys who got there before me.
Of course.
Yeah.
So they'd already scouted the town, and they're like, okay, this joint, and this one. So I just let them pick.
It's cool. There are so many good crime shows that have taken place in Miami.
I mean,
Beyond
Dexter.
Dexter, yeah. Like
Dexter.
even like you remember Burn Notice?
Oh yeah.
That was
Burn
a
Notice,
great show.
sure.
That was a
USA
great
Banger.
show.
Sure.
USA Banger in Miami, and that was kind
Right.
of he was a private detective in a sense, kind of a fixer, I guess, but
Right.
like kind of the same thing too. And that beautiful backdrop, I think, is so colorful. And you
Well,
have so many
Miami
different
Vice.
things. I don't know.
Oh, of
Of
course.
course.
I don't know why.
Oh, and there's the new Miami Vice too coming.
Oh yeah. Have you heard about that?
No.
Oh yeah.
Kaczynski directing Austin Butler and Michael B. Jordan in the
yeah.
new Miami Vice.
That's
Sounds
glossy.
boring.
That sounds awful. How could that possibly? How could it possibly work? But again, M.I.A. Fantastic series, like you were saying, young actors, where you're getting a chance to like see a combination of like vets like you and Olmos and like all these other great actors and these younger people kind of like making their strides through in very difficult, I would say, acting challenges.
Right.
Because they are, like you were saying, there's a lot of moral struggles here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like revenge. There's a lot of like John Wick like action crazy
sure.
sequences.
Yeah.
It is difficult, and I'm very impressed by this young crew.
Thank you, Jack. That means a lot. Thank you for saying that.
And again, on Peacock now. But of course, while we have you here, we'd love to talk to you about other stuff that you've
Sure.
done as well. Starting, of course, with The Princess Bride. I mean,
Which is like we have. It's like we both have the criterion. Like we talk about this movie constantly.
constantly.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are great.
We who were we interviewing with? We were just talking about this with Paul
Walter Hauser.
Yeah, you're part
Okay.
of the
Yes.
legendary run of the late Rob Reiner. And it was relatively early when you got this role in your own career as well. What was different about the way maybe he directed versus the other people you had worked with so far?
Well, the thing is about Rob, actor directors are always a joy because they understand the process. And, excuse me, Rob had already directed a couple of films that I'd seen. Obviously, Spinal Tap, which was groundbreaking, right? And The Sure Thing with John Cusack. But I was aware of his work as a kid watching All in the Family in Archie Bunker's house. And so I was a huge fan already. And he didn't realize that. He thought, oh, this is a British kid. How would he possibly? And I was like, no, you don't understand. I've been following you for a while. So we hit it off right away. And he was just a joy to work with. I mean, I miss him terribly. We laughed every single day on the set, guys. There wasn't a single day without laughter, not one. So imagine that memory, right? I mean, you can't beat that. The only other time I ever had that was with Mel Brooks.
Oh my gosh.
Right after too.
Have you watched the Brooks documentary?
It's tremendous.
A minute.
So you
It's okay, Bob. No problem. Don't bother watching it again.
I'll leave. I'll just go ahead and go.
I'm teasing you, man.
But
It's all good.
Back to like the last, you told a hilarious story a few years ago about Andre the Giant's 16-second fart
Yes.
on the set.
Yes.
Were there any other?
Groundbreaking.
Literally.
Literally
He said
groundbreaking.
steam was coming off of his head.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that is something that's seared into my psyche forever. He was a lovely guy. He really was. That was his first day shooting, and so it was during the storming of the castle. So it became known as the storming of the castle scene for all of us. But Chris Guest timed it. He was there. He timed it, and he said that when it was over, there were no birds singing, nothing. But we were all like, some of the crew still have tinnitus from it, because it was very impressive. Obviously, he's not like a normal fart, yeah. But I ran into a friend of his who grew up with him, and I told him the story, Jack, and I said, he did this thing on the first day where he brought the whole shoot to a standstill. Well, as still as you could possibly be, right? And his friend said, oh, yeah, he loved to break the ice by breaking wind. I'm like, he planned that?
He's eating beans all night. He's just preparing himself.
No, it's like, you can't make it up.
What a lovely human being.
Amazing. Generous. By the way, never let you buy a dinner or a drink. Never. I made the mistake on our first dinner bringing out my wallet, and he slammed his hand
Giant
hand on top of me, on my hand and my wallet, and he bruised it. And he just went, no, like that. And from obviously, looking at this bruise, I realized there was no way this guy was ever going to let anyone buy him dinner.
Wow. I was watching the story that you told where you guys went out to drinking around here, I think up near Penn or something. And you said you walked in the bar and it's like an Old West scene where like everyone stops and stares.
It was. I think it was
PJ Clark's.
PJ
right?
Clark's.
Yeah.
They have his picture behind the bar. Well, they loved him there. And they knew what to make him. Obviously, he had his own particular drink that he had. And he was being followed by a police detective because we went bar hopping. Obviously, I was sipping. He thought that was funny. But I wasn't going to be, don't have that kind of constitution to drink on that level. Anyway,
I don't think anyone does.
But so now we got to the third bar. This is good for this show, since you are drink related. We get to the third bar, Jack, and I see this guy, the same guy from the first bar, sitting a few tables down. And I said, Andre. He goes, what? I go, I think there's someone following us. And he turns around and he looks at the guy and he looks back and he goes, oh yeah, don't worry about it. I go, well, you want to tell me what's going on? Turns out that NYPD had an undercover police officer following him whenever he went drinking, because one time Andre had come out of a bar and slipped and fallen on someone.
Oh no.
And they described it as a building falling on top of them. and obviously they lodged a complaint with NYPD. And so after that point, they told Andre, just to notify them when he's going out. And they would just go. I thought it's a pretty easy gig, by the way, for a cop to go drink, because he had to drink, he's like,
I got to drink for
off
work,
duty, right? Yeah. But the guy had to follow him around, make sure he was safe.
Just like insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said, I got my own bodyguard. So he's like, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Another movie you were in that I think was I don't think, obviously it was a global sensation, was Saw. And I'm curious what the moment was for you with that movie, especially in the horror world, which operates, I feel like, slightly differently than some of the other genres. What the moment was when you realized, like, oh, this is like a global phenomenon. Like, this is really taken off.
Well, the first weekend, we were all very surprised by it. The budget of the film was like little over $1 million. And I think it made like over 100 million on the, so they were, obviously the producers were very happy about that. And it was a brand new kind of horror film. The press dubbed it splatter porn.
I don't know if I would say that.
And so, yeah, it's not, personally, that's not the kind of movies I like to watch. I get it. And I'm in it, so I don't need to watch it. But I understand how people are obviously attracted to that, because it's a new kind of horror film, and it obviously spawned a lot of other films that really covered that kind of style of filmmaking. And so I was obviously very impressed with the filmmakers on how they managed to come up with that.
Do you watch many of your movies? Are you one of those?
No.
Yes.
No. Why? It's no point.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to watch this podcast.
There's nothing to be gained for me. It's just an exercise in torture, because all I can see is my mistakes, right? And so that's not pleasant for me, right? I can see where I failed, and so I don't need to read critics who bag on me. I'm like, dude, you're not even close to where I'm
worst
at.
enemy.
Yeah.
Well, one situation where you wouldn't have to watch yourself, you have done considerable voice acting.
Yes.
With Studio Ghibli, one of my favorites, Whisper of the Heart, and then The Cat Returns.
So
You've also done Batman Beyond.
Yes.
But with Ghibli, did you feel a difference? Because I feel like they have such a great reputation when it comes to not only casting their voice actors, but working with them. Did you feel that difference, or do you notice any difference, or what was your experience working with them?
Well, again, Miyazaki didn't direct all of the ones I was in, but with that studio, there's a level of I mean, it's groundbreaking. Let's call it that.
Yes,
let's call it what it is. It's groundbreaking animation, and we were basically brought in to dub the English versions.
Yep.
And so the challenge was they weren't going to redo the facial movements of the characters in the show. We had to fit the dialogue within what was already there. So they gave us free rein to work on that, so that we try and found dialogue that would match the movement of the Japanese character speaking Japanese, obviously it's a different movement. So we would take the script they gave us, and then we would figure out what words would fit best within the time frame and the movement of the mouth of the character we were playing.
Almost sounds like
Does
a
that
fun
make
little
sense?
challenge, though.
It was fun. It was a fun. Like I said, they were the studio were very cool. They're like, listen, we get it. What we want is for people to enjoy the film.
Of course.
We so whatever you can do to help, audiences not be distracted by that. So, as long as the intent is there, and the performance is there, they were very cool about it.
So many people are, I don't know if you know about that, but people are weird about watching the dub versus sub, but I think their dubs are just simply
Their dubs are
great.
phenomenal.
Incredible.
They're great.
And they did a great job at finding young talent too, because they have a lot of obviously young voices.
Oh yeah.
And some of the young people that they cast go on to have phenomenal careers too. It's great, crazy how good they were.
Yeah, no, I was happy to get that call. Big fan of their work, and yeah.
We'd like to do something with you. We could just call it the 6-pack. It's just like a 6-pack of drinking, of course.
We're gonna drink.
I wish we had it, but it is 6 rapid fire questions, as rapid as you would like to be.
Okay.
Anyway. The first of which being, there's been a lot of talk about a late sequel for Days of Thunder. Because there has been some success with Top Gun Maverick.
Right.
And now, obviously, Kaczynski has been so great with racing.
Sure,
and they're like, maybe we could put this back together. Would you have any interest in joining that?
I would love to. I mean, obviously, I love working with Tom. We've done 3 pitches now together. And, that's above my pay grade. I have no idea what, if I get the call, great. I love working with Jerry Bruckheimer. He's a fabulous producer. And, so we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Is there any scene in your career that you would consider or gave you a very hard time? I don't want to say you flubbed it, or maybe...
It was the most challenging, maybe.
Yeah, maybe your most challenged. Is there any scene you look back on, you're like, man, that day on set...
I think I broke my toe during the making of Princess Bride. I was fooling around on Andre's all-terrain vehicle, and I went over a rock and broke my left big toe, and that was a week into shooting. And so that was definitely something that got the producers very excited, because we're a week into shooting, and I'm supposed to be running and sword fighting and being chased and the whole thing, and now I'm limping. And so that taught me a valuable lesson, which is that you shouldn't be playing with all-terrain vehicles or anything like motorbikes or things like that. There's a reason the insurance company wants you to sign a waiver at the beginning of the show that you're not going to go skydiving or anything like that. So I learned that lesson the hard way. And Rob was very cool about it, actually. He was like, you know what? We'll move the fight scene to the end of the schedule and give you time to heal. So
that happened to Vigo too, right?
I was about to say, do you think
Did it happen to
Vigo tried to
Yeah.
copy you?
did he break his toe?
The 2 towers.
Yes, in the
on
two
two towers. Did he break it?
He ad-libbed, he kicked a helmet. And he was like, oh, it'd be a cool thing to add. He kicked it, shattered his toe.
Ow.
And he had like a great guttural, visceral
know,
scream.
Wow, I know what it feels like. Bleed. It actually, you don't think it's much, a toe. It actually affects everything. It affects how you walk.
Probably your gait.
And your
hips.
gait and how you sleep and all of that. It's a real drag. It's a real drag.
What is a role that people might be surprised to hear you audition for?
I don't do much auditions anymore, Jack. I'm very fortunate in that sense. I think I have enough of a body of work that people can see whether or not I can play the role.
Maybe more younger days.
Younger days, I did audition a lot. I auditioned for Lady Jane. I auditioned for Kiss the Girls with Ashley Judd and Morgan Freeman. But that sort of trailed off after that. Thankfully. I mean, I'm not great at auditioning. I have to be honest. It's very hard for me. I'm very much in the moment about being there with the actors who are going to perform the roles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much about a sense of place. Mm-hmm. So the set or the location is very important to my character, and the energy, right?
Yeah.
And those things are hard in a room when you've got a camera and you're not on the set or in character or in the costume or any of it. It's a different beast.
And you're bouncing off a producer,
or a casting director. Yeah. It's listen, I'm not putting them down because I get why they do it. I'm a different person when it comes to acting. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't get those calls much anymore, because I'm much better when I'm on the set and in front of the people that I'm working with. And like I said, working off of their energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And you've worked with so many great directors over the years, but is there any director you haven't worked with yet that you would love to?
There's so many. I wouldn't want to point them out because I'd be offending the ones
you miss, yeah.
Yeah, but there are a lot of great filmmakers out now. I think there's a more exciting now in terms of young filmmakers who are coming up through the ranks who are just going gangbusters. And, New York is always exciting because there's something going down all the time. Constantly.
There it goes.
And they fade out. There
you go.
That's actually just Josh Safdie shooting a new movie.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. He's a great director. Wonderful director. There's lots of great talent out there, as you know. I mean, you saw all the films that came out last year.
Of course.
And the ones probably that are out making a lot of money right now. So, yeah, there's a lot of terrific filmmakers out there I'd love to work with.
A lot of non-traditional directors coming up too, where it's like they maybe don't take the traditional path of going through like a film school, but they might go through YouTube. And there's a lot of people that did that.
Very true.
They Talk to Me and Bring It Back directors for them through YouTube. A lot of guys
the Filippo brothers.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
A lot of really interesting guys coming up through there. What is a movie, just speaking of, I guess, what is a movie or show recently that you've watched that you've really enjoyed that maybe you would recommend to people?
Well, there's the one that's in the zeitgeist right now would be Fuqua's Michael. I think that it's captured people's imagination in a way that few could have imagined. I mean, it's going into the theater and watching it and having folks stand up and dance and sing it's like a live show,
mm-hmm.
And it's a phenomenal film.
You got it with like a big crowd when you saw it?
Yeah, it's packed. Even on a Monday night, I was like, wait. Yeah, I met Michael here actually when I lived in New York.
In New York?
Yeah.
Really?
I met him not far from here, Times Square.
Mm.
He was in a video store after closing.
He was in Times Square?
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
what?
Well, I was tired and I couldn't sleep. And I had a VCR. This is how old I am. It was old VCR.
I got a VCR on my desk right now.
You do?
Full of tapes, full of VHSs.
So I used to go down to this place called RKO Video.
Oh, of course,
in Times Square. And they're gone now. But I ran there and it was closing at, I think, 11 o'clock or midnight. I can't remember. And I ran from my apartment and made it just as they were locking the door. And I begged the guy and he's like, no, we're closed. And the manager saw me and he knew me, thank God. And he's like, I said, please, I begged him. I'm like, please. He's like, okay, open the door. I came in. He's like, Cary, we're closed. I'm like, I know what I want. It's all good. I'm just going to get one tape and then I'm gone. I promise you I'll be out. Okay, go. So I go upstairs and I start looking for, I don't know, I think I was going to rent Apocalypse or something. And I hear a walkie-talkie and I hear Section 3 clear. I'm like, oh my God, there must be a fire or a robbery, right? And I'm thinking it has to be police or fire department or something. And I'm looking around going, oh my God, what do I do? And then I hear another walkie-talkie going, Section A, clear, Section A. I'm like, I turn around and there's a huge bodyguard there with a walkie-talkie in a black suit and a tie. And he's looking at me like he's literally twice the size of me. Like, what are you doing here? And I thought it's Secret Service or something. It must be something. And I turn around the other way, and there's Michael right there, standing right there. And I'm like, oh my God, like what anyone would say, saying Mike. I'm like, oh my God. He goes, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I can't believe this. He goes, yeah. You know, like it's not a big deal. And I didn't know what to say to him. And I introduced myself, and he said, oh yeah, he knew my work. He'd seen Princess Bride. And I said, can I get your autograph? Is there any? I mean, I didn't know what to say to the guy.
Yeah.
Because we stood there for a bit saying nothing. And he said, yeah, sure. So I pull out a pen and a piece of paper. And as he's signing the autograph, a bodyguard comes up to him and goes, sir, they're all out of Pinocchio. He'd come to rent like a Disney movie.
Yeah.
You know, God bless him. And he was like embarrassed by it. I'm like, hey, I love Disney as much as the next guy, you know. But yeah, he'd come in. That's why the store was closed. Mm-hmm. They closed it for him.
That's incredible. I love the moments of Michael where he's sitting there watching the movies. You can see him putting the pieces together for the thriller, and you can see his like the gears turning in his head.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear that he really was just a cinephile.
Big cinephile.
A massive cinephile. I mean, you look at the directors he's worked with, right?
Of course.
You know,
Scorsese,
Scorsese, George Lucas.
Well, Landis.
Yeah. I mean, amazing. He was a real cinephile. Loved movies.
Mm-hmm. You know? That's so funny. Imagine like you on the one end of the store getting Apocalypse Now. He's on the other end getting
Pinocchio.
Well, that's tremendous. My God.
And then to finish up, you grew up both in the UK and here.
Yes, sir.
A big debate online, and it's been going on for years now, is our debate between cuisines. Do you have a preference?
You are qualified
That's
here.
Hilarious.
Between American cuisine and British cuisine.
You know, growing up in England, you know, I grew up there in the 60s and 70s, Bob. And so cuisine wasn't really a thing in England back then. It is now, obviously. I think it changed with celebrity chefs and all of those things that started happening on television. And so now there's a huge influx of quality restaurants all over the UK, not just London. And so I kind of left the UK before that all happened. And when we were shooting Princess Bride, I mean, the food where we were shooting was not, I mean, Andre would go over to France and bring food over for everyone. He'd rent a truck and pack it full of food. He couldn't, he was actually, everyone thought he just ate anything. He didn't. He's French. He had a very fine palate, and he didn't want to eat like stuff that had lard in it.
Toad in the hole.
No, none of that. So he fed us, which was great. But, you know, I got here, and by the time I got here in the 80s, it was already, you know, New York was already had a big, you know, fine cuisine thing going on. So, yeah. So in answer to your question, could I compare the two? I wasn't there when it was comparable.
Listen, we're going to take
the win.
I wasn't here.
We'll take the win here.
You know what I mean?
We're counting
for real. For real. I think, you know, going back now to England, I am finding that they've caught up in a big way, you know.
I'm going to Italy in a couple weeks for the first time,
it's
and
a
I
rotten
cannot
gig.
wait.
It's a rotten gig you have, Jack. It's a rotten gig.
The best part is I'm in the wedding, so I can't even say like I can't swing it. I have
hilarious.
to do it.
You have to go.
I have to go.
Which part of Italy?
Going to Naples and then to Sicily for the actual wedding. Yeah.
Now there's a restaurant in Napoli they claim is the birthplace of the pizza.
Okay.
So you might have to check that out.
Neapolitan pie is my favorite pizza.
There is a place you can look at. There's several who claim they are now, because once this guy started getting a lot of hits online, there were neighbors who were like, hey, you know, you know. But there is, I think you can find it. Okay. There is a guy. It's a wait. There's a line, and but it's apparently worth it.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth the line.
Food is always worth it, man.
Yeah, always worth the line for the experience. But again, here to talk about M.I.A.
Yes.
If you're watching this now, it's already out. A whole series is on Peacock right now. Watch it. Again, it's like a kind of a mix of, like we were saying, you get a mix of like crazy John Wick action, insane like sequences, combined with like a legitimately like very well thought out, dramatic storyline. So get those two things together, you get a really good series. Make sure you check it out. Again, all on Peacock right now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks,
Thank
Bob.
you.
Appreciate you guys.